Hello, welcome back to another Cat Thinkers tutorial. My name is Tej Patel. This tutorial will teach the revolve tool on Fusion 360. In this tutorial, we will be making universal cuffs, a form of assisted living technology. Universal cuffs help those with limited dexterity hold objects such as utensils and other tools such as pencils and brushes and other objects, generally those that are thin and difficult to grasp. They are made of a silicone rubber material which allows for better grip on the object as well as conformability to different sizes and shapes of objects. And they also come in different sizes and shapes themselves. To use a universal cuff, you first place it around the object, as can be seen in the picture, and slide your hand through the loop it makes with the object. When your hand is through the loop, you will have a part of the cuff behind your arm and the object in your palm, and you can just grab it as you would a normal object. And this makes it where if you let go, the object does not fall out of your hand. And to get started, open a new file on Fusion 360. Save this file and title it Universal Cuffs. Then we will make a sketch, which, if anyone forgot, is under the Create section as the second option. We'll make this sketch on the right plane, which you can access through this top right cube, the cube in the top right corner. And on this plane, we will extend out 5 millimeters upwards and 15 millimeters outwards. Then, off of this second line, the 15 millimeter line, we will make a rectangle that's 10 millimeters by 5 millimeters, which, if you cannot get the dimensions accurate with the grid system, you can type them in, click tab to switch to the next one, and type that one in as well. Then, from the top left corner of the rectangle, extend back 5 millimeters. Using this new line, create a 3-point arc starting from the line that we just made to the bottom left corner of the rectangle, and when you finish the 3-point arc, it should have a 5 millimeter radius. You can finish this sketch and find the revolve tool. The revolve tool is in the Create section next to the Extrude tool in the shortcut bar. Or, if you cannot find it there, you can go under the Create section drop down in the second section under Extrude, and you will find Revolve here. To use the Revolve tool, you select your faces, and they could be faces of a sketch, component, or body, and you select a rotation axis. Note that you can only select one axis. So the axis you select will have different effects on the piece. So if we select this axis around the line, you can see it makes a pointed cylinder. And if you select this lower axis over here, you can see it makes a kind of curved cylinder as well. For this project, we will be using the y-axis, the green line going vertically, and when you revolve a part, you have 3 revolution types. You have partial, which extends to a certain degree value, and in partial you have one-sided, two-sided. So two-sided lets you choose different values for each side, so I could go 30 and 10, or symmetric. And you can make it a new body, new component, intersect, cut, or join. And cut, for those that use Tinkercad, is the same as remove, or a hole. Then, we have to object, which works if you have another face intersecting with this axis, and you can extend from the axis that you start from to the axis that's intersecting, or to the face that's intersecting. And it has the same direction and operation functions as the partial revolve. Except the to object revolve does not have a symmetric direction. Then the third type is the full type, which is the one we'll be using for this project. The full type has no degrees of axis. It always rotates in a 360-degree circle. It has the same operations, but it has no direction, as it will always be the same outcome. So we will create a full revolve around this axis, for this part around the y-axis. Now, a common issue with the revolve tool is if you have a sketch that goes through the axis you're trying to revolve around. So if I had a sketch that went through this y-axis, as you can see, this rectangle here goes through the y-axis, and let's just pretend I had a line going down it. Yeah, this sketch would not be able to revolve. If I try to revolve both rectangles around the y-axis, it pulls up an error saying that the profile crosses the revolve axis. And to fix this, you have to either move the profile or trim it along the axis. That means that the face here that you're trying to revolve is passing by this axis. And even if you do a partial, it provides the same error. So to fix this, you have two options. You can either select one side in the axis, and you can see that will make the full rotation because it's not hitting another face, or you could move the part away from the axis as we did here, where this is the part and this is the axis, so it doesn't revolve. And by doing this, you result in a hole. So I will quickly revolve back to the part we had before. Now, this would be our first disc, or our first hoop, as can be seen here. Now, for our second hoop, we will copy this piece. To copy something, you go to the Bodies drop-down in your browser menu, and you right-click on the body that you're trying to copy. Then, at the very top, there will be a button. There will be a Move/Copy option. You click that, and you create a copy. So for this, I prefer to have my Move/Copy in the center, so I can just reselect using this selection at the top. I exit out, and I choose where I want my thing to move from. In the Move and Copy, you have bodies, components, faces, and sketch objects. You cannot move like a sketch object and a body at the same time. So make sure you have your Move and Copy set to the object you want to move. Then you also have X, Y, and Z value inputs, as well as angle inputs, or you can have it for the have it using arrows. And there is 5 different types of move types. So there is from one point to a position, there's a point to a different point, there is only rotate, there is only translate, and there's free move, which has rotate and translate. Just a second. Yeah. And for us, we will be creating a copy. So you can click the Create Copy button at the bottom and use the arrows to move it down. And you can see this value changing as you use the arrows. And after you move it, after you move it a little, it will have the value ready to be changed. For this, we will move it down 110 millimeters. Actually, we will move it down 125. And you can move it down more or less depending on how large you want your cuff to be. And then you can click Enter, and that will finish your Move/Copy. Then for the third step and almost final step, you take another sketch and go to the top plane. So yeah, you would create a new sketch, cycle over to the top plane using the cube, and click on the little square over in the center. And then we will extend out 15 millimeters or 10 millimeters from each side and make a rectangle. So we have a 20 millimeter long rectangle, So, and you can see that it's difficult to choose what size you want your rectangle to be. So an easy way to get past this is make 2 points, 2 lines, and have them pass through both points. Now you can take your rectangle and connect these 2 points from the bottom one to the opposite side. You finish your sketch here and extrude this rectangle up 5 millimeters. And you can see that it is highlighted in red, which means it's cutting into the other parts that are on its path. To fix this, you can go to the join section, join operation, and this will combine all 3 parts into one. And you can see there are no lines in between any of the parts, and this shows that they have been successfully joined. For the third and final step, we will be taking we will be using the fillet feature to choose these 4 outer edges that connect the circle loops to the handle rectangle. And we can fillet outwards 32.5 millimeters. And this provides that curved, smooth shape that you see in the picture shown right now. And the reason we used a revolve instead of a extrude is because it makes it much simpler to get this curved pattern here, which allows us to easier slide in the objects and hold them with a better grip. Then, as you can tell here, these parts are slightly curved, so we will also fillet these outer edges, 1 and 2, and we'll fillet them 2.5 millimeters. If I tried to do anything more than 2.5, so if I tried to do like 5, you can see it's cutting into itself, and it's making another sharp edge. And this is because when you do a fillet, it goes down and it goes vertically and horizontally approximately the same amount. So this fillet is going up 2.5 and inwards 2.5 millimeters. And our thickness of this part was 5 millimeters, so the best way to avoid overlaps and to make this smooth shape would be to go with the exact half of that, as we're going top and bottom fillet, which is why we're going with 2.5. Now we have our part set up, and when you are printing this, you want to make sure you use TPU filament, which appears in a squishy, rubbery which prints kind of like a silicone rubber, as the universal coats are generally made of normally. And as you can tell, there's many different objects that you can use with this, and not all will fit to this exact size. So you can change the size of the handles or the circles when you create that first sketch. And yeah, so I hope you learned about how to use the revolve tool in this tutorial, and that is the end of this tutorial. Thank you.